In the heart of a quaint New England town, a little girl with sunshine in her soul arrived by train. Her name was Pollyanna, orphaned and alone. She was sent to live with her stern and wealthy aunt, Polly Harrington. Aunt Polly's grand mansion stood tall and imposing, much like its owner. The house was filled with rules, silence, and shadows, a stark contrast to the vibrant spirit of the little girl who just stepped through its doors. Pollyanna was given a small, stuffy room in the attic, but even that couldn't dim her bright outlook. You see, Pollyanna had a secret weapon against sadness, a game her father had taught her called the glad game. The rule was simple: find something to be glad about in every situation, no matter how difficult. When she saw her bare attic room, she wasn't disappointed. She was glad. The window had no curtains, which meant she had a perfect, unobstructed view of the beautiful trees and sky outside, and the lack of a mirror. Well, she was glad she didn't have to see her own freckles. Aunt Polly didn't understand it. She saw a disobedient child. Not a hopeful one, but Pollyanna's unwavering optimism was infectious. She started playing the glad game with everyone she met. She taught the grumpy, bedridden Mrs. Snow to be glad that her hands still worked, so she could knit beautiful things. She encouraged the lonely and disheartened Mr. Pendleton to be glad he had strong legs to walk through the beautiful woods, even if he felt he had no one to share it with. Slowly, like the sun melting away winter frost, the town of Beldingsville began to change. Grumbles turned into chuckles, and frowns turned into smiles. The gardener, who once complained about his aching back, became glad for the roses he could grow. The cook in Aunt Polly's kitchen, Nancy, started finding things to be glad about in her daily chores. Pollyanna was a little beacon of light, reminding everyone that happiness wasn't something you find, but something you create. Even Aunt Polly, whose heart had been closed off for years, began to feel a warmth she hadn't felt in a very long time. Then, one day, a terrible accident happened. Pollyanna was hit by a motor car. The doctors said she might never walk again. For the first time, Pollyanna couldn't find anything to be glad about. Her spirit was broken. The light she had brought to the town seemed to dim as she lay helpless in her bed, unable to play her own game. The news spread through Beldingsville, and the townspeople were heartbroken. The little girl who had taught them all how to be glad was now the one who needed gladness the most. So they came. One by one, they gathered outside the big Harrington house. Mr. Pendleton sent a message that he was glad he had been lonely, because it led him to adopt the orphan boy Jimmy Bean, all thanks to Pollyanna. Mrs. Snow sent word that she was glad she had been confined to her bed, as it taught her patience. Everyone she had ever helped came to share how she had changed their lives, playing the glad game for her. Lying in her bed, Pollyanna heard their voices. She heard the love, the gratitude, and the joy she had spread. Tears welled up in her eyes, but this time they were tears of gladness. She realized she had so much to be glad for, a town full of friends, an aunt who now loved her dearly, and the hope that she had inspired in so many hearts. And with that wave of love washing over her, Pollyanna's own hope was rekindled. With determination and the support of everyone around her, she began the long, difficult journey to recovery. And though her steps were small at first, she knew she would walk again, because Pollyanna had learned the most important lesson of all. Even in the darkest of times, there is always, always something to be glad about.